Ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the week, of course, we saw the Cutlass Red. And suffice it to say, I was very, very impressed with this ship. There was a few qualms that I had, minor little quibbles, but overall, the genius in the design of this ship, in the layout of the interior, and everything was just amazing. I was very, very, very impressed with this ship. And so, to impress me further, you'd think that you'd have to set the bar pretty damn high. Well, that bar was set pretty high, and CIG leapt over it with ease.
In danger. Yeah, I think the other thing that people always ask a lot is, when can I get my flashy lights on a ship?
That was something I was very adamant about at the very start of this process, is that it had to have the kind of EMS light feel.
The Cutlass Red brings two new features into the Star Citizen universe. So let's talk about the first one, healing.
Healing yourself. If you're injured, you can just go inside the Cutlass, lay down in this bed. There will be a little prompt for you to heal. We have this really cool little scanner that goes through with a nice little toned lighting effect, kind of show that you're being healed.
And then the second is respawning, which you sort of access in a very similar way. You lie down on the bed, you set the medical beds to be your respawn point. And then at that point, if you die and the ship is still in a relative vicinity, you can respawn back to the ship, which is a big feature. Okay, so we're just about out of time.
Now, while the flashing lights, of course, were something that I was hoping was going to be there, and I was very pleasantly pleased to see that video. You know, some people had said in the comments, oh no, they're going to have it. When I saw that in that video, I was just like, yes, perfect. You know, a little touch, seemingly, some people might say, it's not that big a deal. It is. To me, it's a very big deal because it makes it much more sensible of a ship. So I was very pleased with that. You know, the interior, of course, was amazing, but now to find out that not only do the medical beds, are they going to have that healing function built into them, and I hopefully by the time that 3.8.1 comes out, but the fact that you can respawn when you die off of those beds is, frankly, it's pretty damned huge. That is a big deal. One of the biggest problems that we have in Star Citizen right now is that, let's say you and your org are doing a little Saturday op. You get together Saturdays, you play the game, you go, well, hey, let's raid a few bunkers. Somebody dies accidentally, then they respawn at Olisar or Area 18 or Hurston or wherever, and then they got to get into a ship and get all the way back to you, and it's not that fun. When you're trying to do organized group activities, it's actually kind of a big drag, and it's something that, in truth, kind of pushes players away from investing too much time in Star Citizen. But now with this feature, if you have somebody out there with a Cutlass Red and you're all going out on a mission, you bring the Cutlass Red with you. Maybe you don't all want to fly in the Cutlass Red, but you bring it along. Everyone sets their respawn point on the Cutlass Red. Now, if something, you know, unforeseen happens, that player is no longer paying an enormous penalty of maybe respawning on the other side of the solar system or wherever, and then having to fly the entire distance to come back and join the group. That can be a huge drag on group activities. And to have that now implemented into this ship is amazing. Now, for me personally, this is actually a much bigger deal than it may seem. Let me give you a little bit of an insight as to why. Generally, when it comes to video games, when I'm playing them, when I play them in kind of like fits. You know, while I'm playing Star Citizen, certainly it's mostly to gather footage right now, play a little bit, get a little bit of experience, but mostly I do it for the footage. Now, there are other games that I play as well, and unfortunately, I've been kind of knocking out a lot of the goals that I set for myself, whether it's within an expansion or a patch. Generally, if there's something that catches my eye, something that interests me, I say, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to get that achievement. I'm going to get that mount. I'm going to get that skin, whatever, however you have to earn it. I'll figure it out. That's what I'm going to do. And I became aware of the fact a couple of months ago that I was getting a little too close to completing a number of my long-term goals. And so I was out there playing other games, looking for other goals to set and things to achieve. Knowing full well that even on the WoW side of things, I was probably looking at a year wait until the next expansion, and it was looking kind of dry. But I kind of figured that with CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, that could easily tide me over, over the next year. And I would continue to play Star Citizen mostly to, just experience the new stuff and gather more footage. But then Cyberpunk was delayed, and so I was kind of looking at, the next year of gaming and kind of thinking, like, there's not a lot out there that really kind of draws my interest. But the addition of this seemingly little thing to Star Citizen, I think it adds so much replayability to the game. I mean, I may have to look at my hangar and say, what do I want to turn into a Cutlass Red? One of the biggest drawbacks when you're playing the game is that penalty that you pay, There's a lot of systems that aren't in the game yet, The medical system is frankly not the greatest. The damage and hit system when you're doing FPS is questionable at best. Let's be honest. So there's not a lot of drive to play the game, especially when you know that quarterly or maybe every 6 months or whenever, CIG is basically going to reset your progress. So there's not a lot of drive to kind of do those sorts of activities because, one, at any point the game could just have an error and just reset you. Or two, you may end up falling victim to unintended gameplay features, aka bugs. And that's a real kind of kickback. But having this feature on a Cutlass Red, if you're wandering around the galaxy and you're clearing bunkers or doing whatever missions, this kind of is a little bit of a pushback on those harsh penalties. And I don't think that it's an unreasonable thing to have in the game, especially if those beds still work when you're out there soloing content. That, I think, adds a lot of replayability to Star Citizen, and in my mind, it kind of makes me say, hey, you know what? Not only just for footage, I might end up just, playing Star Citizen for fun now, because this kind of, it makes it easier to enjoy the game, with all the added unintentional gameplay features. I think that it makes it a lot more of an interesting proposition to go out there and experience that content, knowing that if you do die, maybe at most you have to gather up another suit of armor. Maybe you can run back in and retrieve the guns that you dropped. That's kind of a big deal. It really, really is. And I was just absolutely, just when they said that, I just said, holy crap. Someone is really, really paying attention to us. And that is a big deal. I have to assume that I'm not the only one seeing this, right? There's a lot of very smart people out there who are obviously going to see this. I wonder if we are not going to see a bit of a shift in the universe in the amount of ships, or where ships are the most popular, what ships are most used. I wonder if the Cutlass Red isn't going to shoot up that ladder and become one of the most popular ships in the persistent universe, simply based off of the healing beds and the spawning beds feature. I wonder if this is not going to be something that a lot of players are going to embrace. I wouldn't be shocked to hear a lot of people talking in their org about, okay, who's getting Cutlass Reds? Who's getting Cutlass Reds? Oh, make sure when we go out on Saturday and we do our big op, or whatever day that you do things with your org, that we bring a Cutlass Red, because this is huge. I have a feeling that in the very near term, we're going to see far more Cutlass Reds out in the Star Citizen universe, and probably it may become one of the most popular ships in the Star Citizen universe, simply based off of that one little feature. Now, the only drawback that I see in this whole situation is when I went to basically take one of my old Avenger Titan LTI buybacks and turn it into the Cutlass Red. As I was looking through the options, I was looking at the War Bond options of the Cutlass Red, and none of them came with LTI. They all had 6 months insurance, which, you know, I've made my feelings known on the LTI situation multiple times. I do very much agree with Nubifire's point of view. He made a video quite a while ago in regards to the into the LTI situation. I find it kind of unbelievable that this ship is that you just can't simply buy a War Bond version of it with new money with LTI built into it, because I probably would have just simply taken that option. But overall, you know, you just have to make a few moves, change a few things around, and boom, I've got an LTI Cutlass Red. It's just the added complication. I mean, just make a War Bond version for LTI, done and done. But yeah, I do have a Cutlass Red. That was the only real disappointment that I had, was the War Bond version for new money just does not come with LTI, which personally I think it should. It's, you know, this LTI argument has gone beyond stupid at this point. But yeah, I have added the Cutlass Red to the paddock, and can't wait to see what I can do with it. Should be pretty interesting to see what unintended gameplay we can get out of the Cutlass Red. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.